All right, good morning. You're watching News Center. Thank you for staying with us. So let me have a conversation about what's currently happening in the North Rift. We have Jesse Odwar and Alex Gatundu. Both of them are lawyers. I want to pick their legal mind as well as their political minds as well on what's currently happening today. One, with the president making his visit to the North Rift, and then two, we'll also focus on Wavinya Ndeti. Remember, her candidature was quashed yesterday by IEBC. That's an interesting conversation that we should be having. I mean, their legal minds, they should be able to help us understand what options are there for Wavinya Ndeti. So, gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Allow me to begin with you, Alex. The sentiments by Mandago just a couple of days ago, and he was saying the top Jubilee leadership needs to stop independent candidates or else they will rally their supporters not to support Jubilee. What are your thoughts?
I think it's unfortunate. He could have put his concerns or criticism in a better way, better courteous way, but the incitement and the tribal verbiage that came from his mouth it was quite unfortunate. You don't go saying, I don't want Kikuyus, I don't want Luyas, I don't want Luos.
Did he specifically say that?
No, he is saying, we know what he has been saying. There was that oath that he administered on the tarmac road, the center of Eldoret.
Which he says is a traditional thing. It had nothing to do.
It was a old traditional. It used to be conducted not even on the street. It used to be or in the villages. It used to be conducted inside the forest when warriors were preparing for war. So how do you conduct such an oath in the middle of town, a cosmopolitan at that? It was unfortunate. So as far as I'm concerned, he could have, it is right to complain and to say that, you see, as top brass of this party, under which I am running, you are supposed to be behind me and not seem to be supporting the other side. That is the independent candidates. But the way and the manner he delivered his concern is what concerns all of us, especially those people who are perceived not to belong to his tribe. Yes.
So you think we're having a scenario where political leaders are now raising the ethnic line again. Jesse, what are your thoughts?
I think Mandago has his own right as actually being a Jubilee nominee for the gubernatorial seat of Uasin Gishu to demand that the party supports him. The same way the leadership of the party...
You can demand that the party supports you without necessarily giving threats.
You realize where Mandago comes from. His biggest opponent in the independent of Buzeki has been labeled as the deputy president's project. So that is where Mandago's beef starts from. If the leadership can support Jubilee's candidates in Nairobi and other counties, why is it that Uasin Gishu is more special? That Mandago is not being supported. He's being left to fight your own battles. About the whole thing, I think probably me and Gatundu are so much ill-advised to talk about Kalenjin cultures and their oath.
You know,
we can't even step there. I mean, we are not there. So depending on the culture, of course, Mandago will say this is a cultural aspect.
He actually did.
You know, he did. He did that. Gatundu, first, going backwards, Utamaki thing and all that stuff, you people have also administered oaths. No one is complaining about that in central Kenya. So when Kalenjins do that, let them do their own things. If Luos want to take oaths, let them do their own thing. But I think Governor Mandago is very much in right to tell the leadership to choose whether they are going to support Jubilee Party nominees or they're going to support independents.
Yesterday, I spoke to Buzeki on KTN Prime, and I asked him if he's being supported by Deputy President, and he said no. And specifically, he said if indeed Mandago won the nomination fair and square, then he shouldn't have an issue with him as an independent. Let's go square it out on August 8th. What's the big deal whether or not Buzeki is being supported by the party top brass?
First, Buzeki is an independent candidate. He's not a Jubilee party. Mandago is the Jubilee nominee. So you will expect that the party will support its own nominees. Why will you go and support another candidate outside your party?
But have they clearly said they're supporting Buzeki? No?
They're not actually clearly saying they're supporting Mandago. But in Nairobi, it's so clear. They say we are supporting Sonko. No one is going for PK. And then you go to Nakuru. They actually prevailed on the current governor to step down for Lee Kinyanjui. So why the double standards?
Alex, do we have double standards?
I think as far as presidential campaigns are concerned and the presidential interests are concerned, it is the right of Uhuru to decide what way, what tactics, what strategies to adopt in order for him to clinch back the seat of the presidency in this country. And for him, if in his own estimation, he is able to discern and decide that the best way for me to take this seat is to, for example, rope in other political parties that are not within Jubilee. And that's what he has done. Forget about even independent candidates. Yeah. He has even approached, or he has been approached by other parties like the Democratic Party, PNU, and these are not political parties within Jubilee Party. So if he can do that and we are not complaining, why should we complain when he extends his hand? And you know he is a friendly guy, he is a nice guy. It is his nature to approach everyone. For him, the entire country is his, and he is the president of everyone, including the guys that you are calling independent candidates, including all those parties that are not within. Yeah. That is why even he has said that this SGR should go all the way to Kisumu. You see, it's for the whole country. So for him, as far as I'm concerned, it is his right to decide. The best way is for me to tell everyone, please go and get your vote. Go enda ujiuze sera zako. Go and so and that is a good thing. You see, some independent candidates are very popular, for your information. Some independent candidates are very popular. All these hurabaru in your Singishu can only tell you one thing. What? That Buzeki is not a small candidate. He has a lot of weight, and that is why Mandago is getting easy. In fact, if he was just a small candidate, I'm sure Mandago today would not even bother. He would just ignore him and proceed with. But the mere fact that he is raising all this dust. Buzeki is a force to reckon with. Yes, and we know for a fact that Buzeki has his own basket of supporters. And he is very confident of his own basket of supporters. And what Mandago is doing is he's trying to intimidate and blackmail that basket that he has, that Buzeki has. That is what he's trying to do. Maybe with the intention of, at the end of the day, they will not turn up to vote. I am sure that is the end game, which is very unfortunate because voters all over the country under Article 38 have a right to exercise political action, to undertake any political action. So let him just decide whether he is a leader or an inciter.
A leader or an inciter.
Yes.
Okay, let's listen to what Buzeki had to say yesterday on KTN Prime. That would be interesting to set the perspective for this conversation.
Kwa hivyo, nawaambia watulize boli. Uwanja ni mdogo. Wasiongee mingi, waende wauze sera. Kwa sababu raia ya Uasin Gishu wanataka sera. Tarehe 8 tukutane.
Watulie, tarehe 8 tukutane. He sounds like a very confident guy, yes, like exactly. He knows what he's going for. Exactly. And that brings me to the next question, because there have been calls for the Jubilee top brass to probably ask him to step down in favor of Mandago. Jesse, do you think he should?
I don't think he should. As much as he allegedly was rigged out in Jubilee, it should happen the other side. Nakuru, as much as my senior is saying that Eldoret, Uasin Gishu is cosmopolitan, it's not so cosmopolitan when you compare it to Nakuru. Okay. So the dynamics are involving the prevailing of the current governor to step down was that the fear that NASA might take that seat. If Kinudi Ambugwa goes for it and then Likinanjui goes for it, there is a split vote. NASA will take the day. So the dynamics of Nakuru is different. But fast forward in Uasin Gishu, the fight is actually between two people, Buzeki and Mandago. But then Buzeki has a right to vie as an independent candidate. Yeah. The only issue I have with is why Mandago is not being supported by the Jubilee Party.
No, but Jubilee Party has not come out clear to say we are not supporting this guy.
But you can see, I mean, the Buzeki is expecting some confidence.
But maybe that's what you need to do as a candidate.
You have to have that confidence. But then the confidence that this guy is exhibiting is like, I'm just waiting to be sworn in. I'm okay with the top leadership.
Alex, depending on who wins, Mandago or Buzeki, do you think Jubilee has any reason to worry? I mean, Buzeki is an independent candidate, Mandago is in Jubilee. And then, should he step down?
First and foremost, as I said, it is his right under Article 38 to exercise his political right. That is guaranteed at the Constitution. So if he decides in his own wisdom that I am not going to step down, which he has categorically said he should not. Secondly, you must look at the wider picture. What is going to happen if Buzeki steps down? The basket that we're talking about of voters are not going to turn up. to vote. So it is not going to injure the interest of Uhuruto candidature, Uhuruto ticket. If Buzeki steps down, all those people will be disgruntled because of the anger that will have been occasioned by that stepping down. They will obviously not turn out. So it is at the end of the day, who is more important? It is the interest of the president. Presidential candidature. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. When it comes to hierarchy of interest, the presidential ticket is more valuable than gubernatorial ticket.
Of course.
Secondly, they can even strike a compromise. You do this because of the fires that are raging in Western Gishu. The Uhuruto duo dynamic. That's the dynamic duo. Let them stay out.
Stay out of the
yes,
rest.
Stay out. No, stay
we
out.
will give you
the rest of the country.
The ticket of the presidency and the deputy, but the rest stay out.
Yeah. If I were Uhuru, that's what I would do. If I were Ruto, that's what I would do. Stay out of Western Gishu. Ebu washapane kama wanaume. Lebu washapane kiume.
Tukutane kwa debe.
Yes. Kwa debe.
Okay, what does this then do to, because I was speaking to Elvis Koskei, and he says there have been allegations that Buzeki is being supported by Deputy President William Ruto. Where does this leave the Deputy President, Jesse?
It puts him in an awkward position. First, he's the deputy leader of Jubilee Party.
Yes.
And then he's now supporting an independent. Actually, it sends a wrong signal. At the same time, it works for and against Buzeki. Kenyans don't like the tag of project, and I'm sure the project part works. Actually, if he's not deputy president's project, it was manufactured by Mandago himself. The moment you label someone a project of somebody, then it's hard to sell that idea.
But aren't we being a little bit unfair to the deputy president?
Yeah.
What interest would they have in supporting either candidate?
Politics is about interests.
Yeah.
Politics is big money. Buzeki is somebody whose pockets are not just shallow. This is somebody who has financial muscle. And then when you are looking for somebody, a gubernatorial candidate, this is actually the home turf of the deputy president. This is where he comes from. You need somebody who is loyal and who can play to your tune and all that stuff.
So, it's in
you need
the
party interest that he gets a friendly governor in his home turf. And moving forward, Mandago, I think to some extent, how Buzeki puts it, that Mandago puts himself as a Kalenjin spokesman or kingpin. So I think there is that threat that Mandago to some extent forgot that who is the boss. I think someone needs to take him to hand him a copy of 48 Rules of Power. He sometimes forgets
Never
that the deputy president is the boss, yeah? So he wants to outshine the boss at some times and forgets that actually he is actually in that office courtesy of the boss. So it's power play. And I think the deputy president is putting him back to his size and telling him, boss, I lifted you here and I can also equally.
I made you, I can break you.
I can break you and I can lift someone else. So this
Alex.
is it now.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
As far as I'm concerned, even if you look at the history of the Kalenjin community, from 1992 going to 97, then 2002, then 2005 referendum, 2010 referendum, then 2013 elections, there has been one common denominator. They all put their votes in one basket.
Okay.
Even during the referendum, they put their vote, all of them. So the issue of Mandago even giving threats that if for the first 10 votes, they go to Buzeki, we are going to rally our people of Wasingishu to support or to vote for NASA. That is not going to be.
In fact, wait, that is a conversation you need to have whether or not that is a threat that William Ruto needs to take very seriously. But before we do that, let's cross over to KICC, where the Director of Criminal Investigation was today launching a strategic plan. Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaiseri is currently giving his address. Let's listen in.
Ensuring that Kenya is safe and free from security threat and risk. So I conclude, I am pleased to reiterate that there is going to be continued support to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation through the National Police Service by the government to ensure that successful implementation of the envisioned strategy is achieved. And I would like to just emphasize a few points. One, as a representative of the AG side, the DCI is our most strategic agency in dealing with crime. And I can assure you that what the government has been doing, we are trying to develop a first-class laboratory to enable the DCI to deliver on time the required information as regard to evidence when you are dealing with criminal activities. We have a problem of terrorism. We have a problem of extremism, radicalization, and the department is doing everything possible to ensure that we counter these and we defeat them successfully. I look at the threats, and I always share with the DCI, and I'm so glad that majority of you in this room, especially the regional commanders, you had the opportunity of going to Mount Kenya to plan this strategy. Because literally, strategy is what you want to achieve and how you want to achieve it and with what you want to achieve it with. So the objective, the means, and how to get there. And so this strategic plan is going to give the DCI the opportunity to be able to deliver on their mandate. And so what I just want to urge this very distinguished gathering of our police officers of the DCI department is the issue of integrity is very, very important. I saw when you are talking about your mission, your core values, the most important thing is integrity. Doing what is right all the time for the benefit of our citizens. And to be honest, and to be patriotic, and to be loyal to your organization, and to be just, by being impartial. And so I am very proud to be the CS overseeing this very, very important institution of the National Police Service. And so I am a partner in this, and although Johnson Mokali did not give me the introduction like what he did to the DCI, I want to close by thanking all of you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Many thanks. A big round of applause for CS. After years of being known as the criminal investigator.
So that's what's currently happening at the Kenyatta International Conference, KICC. Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaiseri there has just given his address. The Director of Criminal Investigation is launching a strategic plan there. We'll be speaking to Apati Kamimo, who's there on the ground for us, who can give us just nitty-gritties of what is actually standing out in that strategic plan. In a couple of minutes. But in studio, I have two gentlemen, Jesse Oduor and I have Alex Gatundu. Both of them are lawyers, but then they're also very good political analysts. And we are having a conversation about what's happening currently in Uasin Gishu. But before we get there, just looking at the strategic plan, DCI, and link it with what's currently facing Mandago is being accused of hate speech, as we have, I think now it's 59 days to the general election. What then is the role of DCI? Like the Cabinet Secretary was saying, the main mandate is to look for evidence to be able to prosecute some of these cases as we head towards the general election in terms of hate speech. What do you think their role is, Jesse?
The DCI actually mandated to investigate, is the constitutionally mandated to investigate any crime in the country, and therefore they play a very big role as far as this election is concerned. It's just not about Mandago, but these drums of ethnic tension and drums of war started beating long ago, even when Mutunga was still in office, and actually say that if you can't hear the drums of war beating, then you don't live in this country. So I expect that this should have actually been done earlier, much earlier, but then it's good at least 2 months to the elections, they are launching it, but I hope they're going to do a good job. Basically because we don't have actually someone who has actually been convicted for hate speech in this country.
That is a concern for very many Kenyans.
And actually, the reason has been not that people have not been committing hate crimes, they have, but the problem comes with investigation. You might want to blame the DPP and all that stuff, but then they only prosecute based on the evidence that have been given by the office of the DCI. So we might blame the judiciary too, but then actually it's not them to blame. They work and make rulings and judgment based on what is availed before them. And that is the work of the DCI to do that.
Yeah, I remember there was a forum that was held a couple of weeks ago just trying to train policemen on how to look for evidence, how to gather evidence in such cases. Yeah. Alex, your thoughts?
I think as far as hate speech is concerned, we as a country are doing very badly. Very, very badly, because what we do is that we confine ourselves to the biggest fish we have ever caught, and they have never even been put behind bars, are MPs, members of parliament. Beyond that, we have governors, we have gubernatorial contenders, we have watched, we have seen them, we have heard them, and nothing has happened.
We have seen.
In fact, what is happening in your issue, you can rest assured nothing is going to happen. Secondly, and I would like to differ with him a little bit. If police do not want to a certain suspect to go behind the bars, what do? They just mess up deliberately. So as far as I'm concerned, the issue arises with the intention. Is there an intention in the first place
to prosecute
successfully? The word is successfully.
Oh, okay.
To prosecute successfully this particular gubernatorial contender or this particular member of parliament. Is that goodwill, that intention is always lacking. Somehow, at the end of the day, you hear the case has dragged on, then no prosecution is entered. Unasikia, that's what happens. And by the way, the investigation is done scheduled on purpose to make sure that there is no successful prosecution.
Then you agree with me, actually. You're not differing with me. That is actually what I said. If evidence has been gathered and there's no evidence warranting a conviction, then there is no way that case is going to go through.
My only problem is that I think the evidence is always there. The evidence is always there.
Somehow, it's always there, somehow.
KTN, you have your own evidence there.
Yeah.
In the news. We hear, we watch. So no one can tell me or convince me that the evidence does not exist. They even have the transcript. It is only a matter of ensuring that they go to the Evidence Act and do what the Evidence Act states about how you are supposed to process evidence in form of video to be presented to court of law, which is a very simple thing. They know the procedure that's in the Evidence Act, but they do not follow it.
Okay, so listening to President Uhuru Kenyatta the last couple of days, he's been very categorical about what happened in 2007 and saying this country should not go back to that place. And listening to the two of you, clearly we have zero hopes of prosecuting some of these things. We are letting politicians and leaders get away with this, so clearly zero hope.
There is some hope, I think.
But you're saying these things don't go anywhere.
With regard to repeat of 2007, 2008, I don't see it happening. But then the ethnic tension has actually risen so much. But then Kenyans are wiser compared to what... Technically, I don't think... We might fight on social media, we might call each other names, but then I don't see this country going back to 2007, 2008 because of politics, because of presidency. But then, that said, it's still based upon the two people who are going to hold this country together. I'm not shy to say that the peace of this country after elections depends on Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. How they are going to marshalize their supporters, how are they going to talk to their people. And then the third factor which is going to play is how IBC is going to conduct these elections.
Okay, people, so let's let that conversation on KICC rest and go back to the president's visit in the North Rift. And Alex, we're talking about the threat that was given by Mandago, and he said he will rally supporters to vote for the opposition presidential candidate in retaliation for what he claims is the Jubilee leadership's hand in his rival's bid. Is that a threat that probably Jubilee should worry about?
It's one thing to issue a threat like that in the nature and form it has taken. It is another for that threat to amount to anything on the ground. And I have given you the reason. If you look at the voting trend of the Kalenjin community, they have been very loyal and faithful. They have always voted in a line.
Yeah.
They always put all their votes in a single basket. From 1992, 1997, 2002, 2005 referendum, then 2010 referendum, and 2013 general elections. They have never, ever wavered. In fact, there is one tribe that is very, 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 very clear in their mind as to how they should vote. It is the Kalenjin community, followed by the Luo community. So for me, I am very comfortable. I know for sure that come 8th of August, all the Kalenjin community members will vote for Uhuruto. That one I'm very, very confident. What I have doubt in is the gubernatorial contest in Uasin Gishu, and secondly, Bomet. Because I am seeing a situation where in Bomet...
Yeah, we talked about Bomet.
Yes. I am seeing a situation where in Bomet, much as Isaac Ruto is very confident of clinching that seat, it may be taken by Laboso. Yes, Laboso. And he may be announced the first female governor in Kenya, even before Waiguru, because even Waiguru is going to win.
Oh, okay. So you've now become a crystal ball. Jesse.
Yes. I think when it comes to Bomet, the dynamics are a little bit different. Actually,
Bomet is actually a very key battleground. As in, it's neck to neck.
It's neck to neck. Yeah, you don't know who's going to carry the day.
Which direction this is going to go.
And interestingly, the fight in Bomet is actually not between Isaac Ruto and Laboso. It's actually
Isaac
between
Ruto
Isaac
and
Ruto and William Ruto. It's a battle of the Rutos. So someone is trying to show that I can also stand on my own, and I've been in this game for some time. You realize when you talk about Isaac Ruto, it's just not any casual politicians you can wish away. This is somebody who actually opposed Moi to some extent, and they were in a trip in South Africa, and President Moi left him on the runway. This is somebody who stood to Moi and seen another day after fighting Moi. He lived to see another day. So you're not just talking about a casual politician. He's done it all, seen it all. But then the dynamics are going to be different compared to Uasin Gishu. Bomet, Isaac Ruto is telling these guys, listen, I'm here and I'm staying and I'm showing the DP that I'm my own man and we are going for this thing.
I think the mistake that Isaac Ruto made, I think it was a tactical mistake. Which is also going to be catastrophic on his fortunes, electoral fortunes. You see, if I were Isaac Ruto, what I would have done, fine, no prospects of clinching the ticket, gubernatorial ticket, on the platform of Jubilee.
Yes.
So he would have gone ahead with his own party.
Kivyake.
Yes, Kivyake. Not join NASA. The greatest mistake that he made was even to allow himself to become a principal of NASA.
Of NASA.
Yes. By becoming the principal of NASA, now the issue of where does your loyalty lie?
Where's your allegiance?
Because remember what I said about the Kalenjin community. The issue of loyalty is very key to Kalenjin community. Very key. The moment and by the way, they respect elders a lot. Their elders, unlike other areas, like
which areas? We all respect our elders, Alex.
No. You see some areas like Central, especially like where I come from, Nyeri. We vote like we wish. We don't care. It's Uhuru there, then the rest.
The rest will
yes. We utafanya mchanganyiko maalum, which is a very good thing. But when it comes to Isaac Ruto, he should have stuck to his party, Chama cha Mashinani, and campaign on its platform for himself. Not entangle himself with the opposition, because that one it means that he is not loyal. As far as perception is concerned, I'm not judging, but it is the perception on the ground. You are not being loyal to the interest of our community. So, and secondly, he has said that this is a battle between the Rutos, the single T and the double T.
Double T.
True, but then if you look, for someone who is very keen with political science and the history of this world, or even of history of wars, who wins when it comes to battle between the general and his inferiors? It is always the general who wins, however wrong he is. So there is no way Isaac Ruto can win a battle of wit and weight.
30 seconds. If you're to advise the Deputy President William Ruto with respect to Bomet and what's currently happening in Uasin Gishu, what would you tell him?
Keep off Uasin Gishu, keep off Bomet. That way, he will not be compromising the prospects of and fortunes of Uhuru's candidature.
Jesse, if you're to talk to the Deputy President?
I like at least Gatundu is telling the DP to keep off Bomet. That is because that one is a go zone. No go zone for them. Because if he goes that and actually takes the battle and actually Isaac Ruto comes back, then actually it waters down the superiority of the Deputy President in the Rift Valley. But then for Uasin Gishu, he should actually keep off and actually come out and say that I'm letting you people to fight on your own. I'm not supporting any candidate. Sort yourself out.
Let's see how it will go. Elvis Kosgei is on the ground. People, you're watching News Center. Thank you for staying with us. Allow me to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Wavinya Ndeti and why this now changed.